Continuing our reading of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We are on chapter 16, text 1 to 3. In this chapter, Krishna is telling us about the divine and the demoniac qualities. So in this verse, he's enumerating the divine qualities. So we heard about fearlessness yesterday. Continuing on, then he has to purify his existence. There are so many rules and regulations to be followed in the renounced order of life. Most important of all, a sannyasi is strictly forbidden to have any intimate relationship with a woman. He is even forbidden to talk with a woman in a secluded place. So here Krishna is continuing to give the instructions for a sannyasi how he should behave. He can't have relationships with women. It's not that somebody changes his dress, puts on the clothes of a sannyasi, and he continues to have illicit relationships with women. That's not a sannyasi. A sannyasi means no more relationship with any woman. I can't even speak to a woman in a secluded place. Always there should be other people around. Lord Chaitanya was an ideal sannyasi, and when he was at Puri, his feminine devotees could not even come near to offer their respects. They were advised to bow down from a distant place. So Lord Chaitanya set the example. He was very strict to follow this example. This is not a sign of hatred for women as a class, but it is a stricture imposed on the sannyasi not to have close connections with women. One has to follow the rules and regulations of a particular status of life in order to purify his existence. For a sannyasi, intimate relations with women and possessions of wealth for sense gratification are strictly forbidden. So at each level, each status of life, we have to purify our existence. And a sannyasi, well, he declares that, okay, I have given up this material world. Now I want nothing to do with the material world, and I will dedicate my mind, words, and body in the service of the Lord. And so because he has taken this vow, then to help him keep the vow, he should keep away from the association of women, so that he does not again have relationships with women. And he should not possess wealth for his own personal pleasure. Not that he collects money and says, okay, I'm gonna, go for a holiday with this money, because whatever wealth he collects, it's supposed to be for the Krishna consciousness movement. He's supposed to further the Krishna consciousness movement with the money, because he knows that everything belongs to Krishna. The ideal sannyasi was Lord Chaitanya himself, and we can learn from his life that he was very strict in regards to women. Although he is considered to be the most liberal incarnation of Godhead, accepting the most fallen conditioned souls, he strictly followed the rules and regulations of the sannyas order of life in connection with association of women. So Lord Chaitanya, he's the most munificent. He openly is giving, chant the holy name. He doesn't say, oh, which family are you born on? Are you a Brahmin family? Are you pure vegetarian? No, he says, just chant, start chanting, whoever you are, whichever family you're born in, doesn't matter, whichever caste, creed, race, color, nationality, just chant the holy name. So he's so liberal. But when it came to following the etiquette, he would strictly not associate with women. He was setting an example for the future generation of how a sannyasi should act, not that somebody can misuse that position, that just change the clothes and continue to have relationships with women. That's not a sannyasi. So one of his personal associates, namely Chota Haridas, was associated with Lord Chaitanya along with his other confidential personal associates. But somehow or other, this Chota Haridas looked lustily on a young woman, and Lord Chaitanya was so strict that he at once rejected him from the society of his personal associates. So Lord Chaitanya, who's Krishna himself, he was always having his personal associates, his most confidential devotees who are always with him, the inner circle, if you may call it. And Chota Haridas was one such devotee who was in this inner circle. But somehow the other, one day he looked lustily on a woman, and Lord Chaitanya told him, I'm not going to associate with you anymore. He rejected him because he said, Lord Chaitanya said, for a sannyasi or anyone who's aspiring to get out of the clutches of material nature and trying to elevate himself to the spiritual nature and go back home, back to Godhead, for him, looking toward material possessions and women for sense gratification, not even enjoying them, but just looking toward them with such propensity, is so condemned that he had better commit suicide before experiencing such illicit desires. So these are the processes for purification. So sannyas order of life is not a joke. It's a very strict order that that he can't even look at a woman thinking that he's going to enjoy her. You know, we are always looking around so many things. Oh, I want this, I want to buy this, I want to do that. Sannyasi can't do that. He's forbidden to looking toward material possession and women for sense gratification. He's not even enjoying them actually. He's not actually doing anything, but even looking is forbidden. Why? Because to help him purify, because he has taken that role as a sannyasi, so he has to elevate himself and go back home, back to Godhead. Otherwise, how will he go back to Godhead if he's just going to be busy trying to enjoy this material world? You know, is that okay? Yeah. So the next item is Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti, being engaged in the cultivation of knowledge. Sannyasi life is meant for distributing knowledge to the householders and others who have forgotten their real life of spiritual advancement. A sannyasi is supposed to beg from door to door for his livelihood, but this does not mean that he's a beggar. So what is the duty of a sannyasi? Is sannyasi, he should come to the grihasthas. He should go door to door, not that he's going to beg and get money or get some riches for himself. No, he does that so that he can help people like us who have forgotten that we are truly spirit souls. We are just thinking we are the body. So it's the duty of a sannyasi to go everywhere and to remind people, wake us up. So he does not come to our house to collect money from us. He's coming to, in fact, give us the highest treasure, highest benediction. That is the real duty of a sannyasi. If he's not doing it, then he's not a sannyasi. Humility is also one of the qualifications of a transcendentally situated person. And out of sheer humility, the sannyasi goes from door to door, not exactly for the purpose of begging, but to see the householders and awaken them to Krishna consciousness. This is the duty of a sannyasi. If he's actually advanced and so ordered by his spiritual master, he should preach Krishna consciousness with logic and understanding. And if one is not so advanced, he should not accept the renounced order of life. But even if one has accepted the renounced order of life without sufficient knowledge, he should engage himself fully in hearing from a bona fide spiritual master to cultivate knowledge. A sannyasi or one in the renounced order of life must be situated in fearlessness, sattva, samshuddhi, purity, and jnana, knowledge. So these are the duties of a sannyasi, of a renouncer, because he has renounced the world. He has taken up that duty that from now on, he's going to dedicate his mind, words, and activities in the service of Krishna. So a sannyasi should be a preacher. He should tell everybody about Krishna consciousness. And if he's not able to do it, then he should hear. Now, so if he's not able to preach Krishna consciousness, first of all, he should not become a sannyasi. But okay, he's somehow or the other, he became a sannyasi, but he does not have enough knowledge. Then what he should do, he should hear from the authorities and try to cultivate that knowledge, because that is what's the duty of a sannyasi. And if a sannyasi is not doing these three things, then he's not a sannyasi in fact, in truth. So we have to be careful. We should not get misguided by people who just change their clothes. We have to see what are they speaking, what their activities are. You know, it's important. We have to protect ourselves. Here Krishna is telling us, he's showing us how we can protect ourselves. What's the true duty of a sannyasi is to take us back home. He has to teach us about that we are not this body, that we are the soul. He has to teach us about Krishna consciousness. And he has to tell us, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, speak to us from the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. That's the duty of a sannyasi. So, is that okay? We can stop here then and continue tomorrow. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you for joining. Have a great day.